What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. Y'all, we do not have any time to waste. Like the video's intro plays, we got a lot to get into and some extra stuff and some exclusive stuff because y'all know, I might look unassuming, but I'm messy. And I feel like I've been getting some stuff out of people. Maybe some stuff they shouldn't. We'll get into it. Like the video's intro plays, we got a lot to get into.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense to me intellectually.
Make it make sense. You know what was up.
Big moves.
Surfer.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the
Your
things.
name is right now, bad boy. Love. Well, we about to make love. And then we gonna change your name back to Diddy. Cause then we gonna Diddy. Then we gonna change your name back to Puffy. Cause that's what you gonna be when we done Diddy.
I like that.
Hold on, wait, dude, you ain't supposed to like it. It's,
I like what you're talking about.
I don't like it if you
I
like
hear
it.
scrambling and scraping.
Hey,
That's a lot. I like that. I like you.
guard?
I ain't locked in here with you, playboy. You locked in here with me.
Hey, no Diddy, bro.
And grab that baby roll over there and lather up.
Lather up.
Thought I told you that. We
Hey,
won't
nah,
stop.
man, hold
Thought I
on.
told you.
Okay, y'all. So before we can say any thing, this then popped up. So we're going to review this real quick. This is not going to be like a normal review. We're going to get right to it. A new woman has sued Diddy, and she has added a piece to the puzzle that Cassie has not told us yet in court. She then said everything from, I don't even know how to put this. Making her take baby batter out of her baby door and rub it all over Diddy. So what she hasn't said is what this woman said, which is, Diddy looked like a Tootsie Roll. So we're going to do this one real quick, and then we're going to get into this day 3 because it was a lot. For those people who are really rooting for Cassie, this was a much better day of testimony. And let's just say that Blondie, as we'll refer to her, the attorney for the prosecution, she was a little bit more with it. And her boss, I guess, the lead attorney, Comey, was passing notes to her every 5 minutes. So the attorneys that I was sitting with thought that it was a better day of testimony as well. So that's good news for Cassie's supporters. Plain Doe met defendant Combs in 2001 in an elevator in the building which housed the law firm Grubman and Dorsey. Defendant Combs looked plaintiff Jane Doe, who was defendant Combs looked plaintiff Jane Doe, who was present with 3 of her friends up and down while staring at her. Any chance you guys want to come party tonight? Sounds about right. Defendant Combs proceeded to ask plaintiff Jane Doe for her phone number, which she provided to him. Later that day, defendant Combs called plaintiff Jane Doe. "We're going to a club tonight," requested her name and the names of her friends for the guest list. Plaintiff Jane Doe observed defendant Combs' phone number. Yeah, we've been getting his phone number all day. He has a bunch. It was all through Cassie's text messages too. She proceeded to, y'all don't call this number. It's not his number. She proceeded to save his number in her contact list. That evening at approximately 11 p.m., plaintiff Jane Doe and her friends arrived at a location provided by defendant Combs. Upon arriving at the club, plaintiff Jane Doe provided her name and was ushered into the VIP section of the club where defendant Combs was seated at a table. Plaintiff Jane Doe joined defendant Combs and began to have conversation with him. During the conversation, defendant Combs abruptly said, "You're well manicured. You really keep yourself together. I like your nails and toes." There is a woman who claims to be a family member of Diddy who is walking around the courtroom in present day with white nails. Plaintiff Jane Doe accepted the compliment and the two continued talking and drinking. The night ended without incident. This was the first step in defendant Combs' well-worn scheme to groom plaintiff Jane Doe. 2 days later, defendant Combs called plaintiff Jane Doe and asked her to meet him in the studio. Plaintiff Jane Doe accepted the invitation, and she, along with 2 of her friends, arrived at Bad Boy Records. They took a photo. It looks like 3 young white ladies. Plaintiff Jane Doe and her friends were led upstairs by physically large bodyguards. After a few minutes, Defendant Combs entered the room. Defendant Combs, Plaintiff Jane Doe, and her friends and others hung out for some time at the studio before leaving to go to a club. Defendant Combs arranged for them to be transported to the club in one of his black SUVs. At least 6 people were present in the vehicle, at least half of whom were large bodyguards. During the car ride, Defendant Combs leaned over and attempted to kiss Plaintiff. Plaintiff Jane Doe physically moved to avoid Defendant Combs' effort to kiss her and forcibly stated, "Whoa, I didn't say you could do that," and glanced at the men seated in the front of the vehicle. In response, Defendant Combs followed Plaintiff Jane Doe's line of sight, saw that she was looking at his bodyguards and drivers, and yelled, "They work for me. I pay them. They are not going to ever turn around." Immediately, one of the male bodyguards he was referring to turned around and looked at Plaintiff Jane Doe and Defendant Combs. Defendant Combs immediately began yelling and cursing at the male bodyguard for embarrassing him. Now, this was 2001. He had just gotten away with pow-powing that woman in the face. Now you're picking up 3 young Caucasian ladies and trying to kiss them. Plaintiff Jane Doe and her friends followed Defendant Combs and his entourage of bodyguards into the club. Let's skip this a little bit. On the 3rd night out, let me see. When Defendant Combs realized the women had left, rather than just go into the restroom or stepped outside for a moment, he called Plaintiff Jane Doe and began berating her on the phone, screaming, "Do you know who I am? No one does that to me. You can't just do that to me." We're going to skip a little bit. Okay, on or about July 31st, 2001, Defendant Combs called Plaintiff Jane Doe and asked her if she wanted to go to the Bowery Ballroom to see performing artist Mos Def. Plaintiff Jane Doe agreed and asked if she could bring a friend. Defendant Combs agreed and told Plaintiff Jane Doe that her and her friend should meet him at the Bad Boy Records studio in Manhattan. Plaintiff Jane Doe and her friend arrived at the studio and waited briefly before Defendant Combs stated that it was time to go. Unlike with previous interactions, this time Defendant Combs told Plaintiff Jane Doe and her friend to enter a tour bus. The 2 women entered the tour bus and found themselves surrounded by 8 to 10 large, imposing men. They felt extremely uncomfortable. On the floor of the tour bus, Plaintiff Jane Doe and her friend observed open condom wrappers, used condoms, and women's underwear. The tour bus arrived at the Bowery Ballroom and the occupants exited the bus and entered the location. Upon entering, Defendant Combs, Plaintiff Jane Doe and her friend and Defendant Combs' entourage were brought to a private area in the balcony to watch the show. Plaintiff Jane Doe noted that Defendant Combs did not appear to be as friendly or jovial as in their past interactions. Defendant Combs and his entourage brought drinks to Plaintiff Jane Doe and her friend, which they consumed. Defendant Combs' entourage also began smoking marijuana and blowing smoke in the faces of Plaintiff Jane Doe. After about 40 minutes, Plaintiff Jane Doe's friend asked her if she felt weird, and Plaintiff Doe confirmed that. Plaintiff Doe further noted that she felt weak in her arms and legs and unsteady on her feet. She even needed to hold on to a banister when they were descending stairs to leave. The 2 women further discussed whether or not they had physically ever felt that way before, and both agreed they had not. They believed it was possible and probable that their weakened physical state was a result of consuming alcohol spiked with illegal drugs. Almost simultaneously, a spotlight was shown on Defendant Combs, and his presence was made known for the concert goers. As soon as the spotlight was removed, Defendant Combs said it's time to leave. Defendant Combs, Plaintiff Doe, her friend, and 2 to 3 other people left the ballroom and entered a black SUV, not the tour bus. Defendant Doe asked if she and her friend could be driven to the Upper East Side apartment. Defendant Combs said that he would like to take her home, but that he needed to stop at his New York City apartment first. Defendant Combs driver drove to Defendant Combs' home, which was located at. Defendant Combs exited the vehicle, grabbed Plaintiff Jane Doe's hand, and said, "Come with me real quick." Plaintiff Jane Doe exited the vehicle and followed Defendant Combs inside the home. Defendant Combs forcibly led Plaintiff Doe to his bedroom and said, "I want to show you my bedroom." After Plaintiff Jane Doe and Defendant Combs entered his bedroom, Defendant Combs locked the door. When Defendant Combs turned around to face Plaintiff Jane Doe after locking the door, his face was distorted. And he angrily said, "I don't think you know who I am. People don't do that to me." Defendant Combs pushed Plaintiff Jane Doe down on the bed on her back, put his hand around her throat, and said, "I'm going to suck the life out of you." Defendant Combs released Plaintiff Jane Doe's neck and then held her arm down while using his other hand to swiftly unbuckle his belt and pants before pulling out his erect bearskin penis, which appeared to be the length and girth of a large Tootsie Roll. Plaintiff Jane Doe recalls feeling relieved when she saw defendant Combs' penis because she knew it wouldn't hurt as much when he R-worded her due to the lack of length and girth. She thought his penis was an itty-bitty ditty. This is a real court case. This is real. I didn't add the Tootsie Roll. This is 100% a court case that has been submitted to a real court in the state of New York. An itty bitty ditty. Okay. Plaintiff Jane Doe screamed, "Get off me, stop." And no, I don't want to do this. Defendant Combs ignored Plaintiff Doe's pleas, slid her underwear to the side, and forcibly engaged in vaginal intercourse with her without her consent and against her will. Plaintiff Jane Doe repeatedly yelled, "Stop, I don't want to do this," and tried to kick Defendant Combs. However, she was weak and physically significantly smaller than Defendant Combs and was unable to push him off her. Plaintiff Jane Doe's 5'2", 105-pound frame was no match against Defendant Combs' 5'10", 180-pound frame. Defendant Combs did not stop penetrating Plaintiff Doe until he was close to climax. Defendant Combs removed his itty-bitty ditty from Plaintiff Doe's vag and then ejaculated on Plaintiff Jane Doe's person. Then Defendant Combs backed away from Plaintiff Doe. Plaintiff Doe slid off her bed and went to the bathroom inside of the bedroom and wiped Defendant Combs' semen off her. When Plaintiff Doe exited the bathroom, Defendant Combs was completely naked and laying on the bed. Jane Doe ran for the door and unlocked it. Outside of the bedroom door stood a bodyguard. Plaintiff Jane Doe asked the bodyguard which way was the exit, and he gestured downstairs. Okay, we're going to get into the court case. I just wanted to give you guys a brief update. Before we start, let me first say thank you. You know, I don't really ask for much, but it was not lost on me, the outpouring of support that you guys have given me in the last few days. I really do appreciate it. It was not lost on me. And to be honest with you, the first day of the trial, I was not really in a good mood. For those of you guys who are members, you already know my sister's in the hospital. I'm not going to give you I'm not going to give you details, but with the subject matter of this case and what's going on with my sister, I just have not necessarily been in a good mood. Yesterday and today was a little bit better. I met a lot of people. I made a lot of connections, major magazines, Complex, people, CNN, producers. People have really embraced me. I'm basically asking Lisa Bloom and her mom questions all throughout the day. We'll get into that. But yeah. So, you know, let's get into this trial. Cassie did much better. And thank you guys again. Day 3. There's like a whole fight between Mark and Comey about exhibits. We're not going to get into that. Cassie takes the stand wearing a form-fitting gray dress and a black blazer. They're asking her about these drives. What are these drives that we're looking at? And it's drives that she has submitted to the court. Most of them are already broken, but they're old. Think of it like this. We may throw away a phone. We'll turn in a phone. Cassie, on the other hand, especially if it was broken, never threw away anything because she was always extremely scared that Diddy would be using that against her. Let me see. So let me see, just more drives. They go over the Suge Knight incident. So what happened was kind of like what I was telling you guys. When she was giving testimony, it was extremely vague. So what they had to do was review what she had said, probably through a transcript, and then ask her follow-up questions so that the jury had a better understanding of exactly what she was trying to say. So for the Suge Knight incident, they made her go into it, and she said D-Rock packed up some guns. The question was, how many times did Diddy want confirmation? Oh, I'm sorry. And they also kind of skip a little bit. How many times did Diddy want confirmation that the escorts weren't cops? She said 6 to 8 times. She said Diddy abused her. Diddy abused her and would force her to say to the escorts, "Are you a cop?" She would also have to tell the escorts, "I'm not a cop." So he was directing her in the prostitution. They were really trying to get him on sex trafficking and the prostitution charges. In the Intercontinental incident, did you fight back? She said no. Did you ever fight back? She says yes, at least to start, but I stopped because he got more violent. He would be surprised when she fought back, but it would quickly turn to anger. They start playing the hotel footage screen by screen. Cassie said Sean had her phone in his hands after he violently took it from her. He threw a vase at her with flowers. So the defense is trying to say that that phone was his and that Cassie was basically stealing from him, and that's how that happened. But Cassie is firm, saying that he threw a vase and that the phone was hers. When she returned to the room in the Continental Hotel during the hotel fight footage, Diddy told her she couldn't leave and said she definitely couldn't leave the hotel. Now they go through a text thread, kind of like showing you guys exactly what it's like to be tethered to Diddy. This was all messages from Diddy. 3/5/2016. Call me. Please call me. Yo, please call me. I got kids. Please call me. Yo, please call me. I'm surrounded. Call me. Call me. For my kids' help. So Cassie responded finally, and she said, put a robe on. The prosecutor says, what does that mean? And after the hotel footage, these are the messages after she's gotten a black eye that Diddy is sending to her. He's basically trying to use his kids as leverage for her to call him after he had beat her. After she said, put a robe on, he says, call me. Call now. Cassie said, I went and checked everything. Spoke to Jules, who talked to security. As long as you don't disturb anyone else, you're good. Jules is the escort, like a normal looking black guy. That's the one that had the big head, tiny ears, and real pink lips. Then they show a picture of Cassie with a busted lip, with a black eye and sunglasses. And remember, guys, she was supposed to be going to. She didn't want to do the freak off. She didn't want to do any of this because she was supposed to be going to. Where is it? Is it this one? No, it's this one. She was supposed to be going to this big premiere party. Let me see. Okay, blah, blah, blah. There's another text thread. Diddy, call me. Call me. The cops are over here. This is all after the Continental incident. You're going to abandon me all alone? Call me now. Cassie, I have a premiere on Monday, and this is the biggest thing I've ever done. Now I have a fat lip and a black eye. I'm sick. He responds, call me. And he says again, you're going to leave me alone? Cops out here. If you don't pick up, you will never hear from my voice again. I'm getting nervous. I'm getting arrested. Cassie says, plugging my phone in, going to bed. You should do the same. The best friend was at the house when she arrived, and she called the police. They said, well, did you talk to the police about what he did to you? And she said, no, I answered a couple questions, but I refused to say who assaulted me. I did not want to hurt Sean. I wanted to protect him. So then Sean comes to her apartment. KK and Carrie, the two assistants, called her and told her Diddy was at the door. So again, that's establishing this enterprise. It says she could hear him kicking and banging on her door. He was unable to get in. She spoke to D-Rock and went to his house because D-Rock and his wife made her feel safe. This was after her friend had already left the apartment. Diddy came to D-Rock's house to get her after she had finally responded to his message. She went to his house for a fitting for her premiere. I want to show you guys the premiere. I had this up, but I guess this one did not load. She says that you could not see the bruises on her because she had on makeup and body makeup. Here we go. This was the premiere. So she was super, super nervous about it. It was her actual premiere, and he beat her up right before. That's the hotel footage that CNN released. Let me see. Diddy would show up to her house unannounced often and would be trying to get inside when he did not have a key. Now we're starting to see like a ton of escort photos. So we have a new escort. His name is Ash. I said he was racially ambiguous. This is not a picture of Ash. This is kind of what he looked like. He looked like Casper Smart, J-Lo's ex. Tammy Morton, thank you so much for becoming a member. Tatiana, I would love for you and Tisa Tells to collaborate after Day of Court on here. Y'all both were the first ones to cover Diddy and air his ass out. I had like a pretty long conversation with Tisa today. We were just kind of talking about like the mood. We're gonna get into some even darker shit than we got into yesterday, and how it kind of like plays with the psyche. So we had a pretty good talk today. Jessica, praying for your sister. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Nexus, thank you for all that you do. Praying for your sister's speedy recovery. Don't forget to try the restaurant Melba's in NYC. I did last time. I think I had the shrimp and grits and the greens. I think, but I definitely went to Melba's. And a piece of cake. I definitely went to Melba's in Harlem. So yeah, Ash kind of looks like Casper Smart. I'm not saying it's Casper Smart. I'm just saying he looks like, that's the look. Let's see. Then there was a nameless black guy. He was from New York. I couldn't really tell who he looked like. Oh, he kind of looked like this Avenger. He looked like the Avenger. Let me see. Like Captain America's sidekick. If you saw the new Avenger movie, he was the lead role. Let me see if I can pull up an image. I don't know his name, but it's this guy. This is what the escort looked like. I don't know his name, but that's what he looked like. Let me see. All right, we'll leave it like that. Let me see. Then there was an Islander. I mean, his name was Islander. He looked kind of like, I said, Rick Fox's slow cousin. Then there was Tommy. He was an older, bald. He kind of looked, I don't know. I thought like maybe he was Cuban. Then there was another nameless guy. He was black, bearded, and bald. Now, the nameless guy, Diddy flew him out. So again, that kind of touches on the sex trafficking. Then there was a guy named Skylar. He was white. He had blonde hair. Jake, he was white. The picture, he looked kind of crazy, real intense eyes, black and white photo. Then there was a nameless white guy. I just put very average looking, Greg. The lady beside me said Greg was ugly. So again, these are not people that she wants to have sex with. These are just people who can get it up while Diddy is directing them in the corner. Brian, a regular looking black man, I don't know. And then Vin. Now don't get me, Jackie, but Vin kind of looked like Doug Christie. Don't get me, Jackie. I'm not saying Doug was a part of this, but Vin could have been his cousin. They were getting her to clarify the term "we," which you and I talked about when we went live yesterday. Mims, do you know if the courts offer therapy after the trial for jurors? This is heavy, traumatizing stuff. I have no idea. But I heard that some of the jurors who were let go were extremely glad because nobody wanted to be there for this trial. Strangely enough, I don't understand why they weren't sequestered. If you have a defendant who has a history of paying off witnesses and or jurors, then why wouldn't you sequester them? Somebody asked me about Diddy's mama. Diddy's mama was clearly going to the Cowboy Carter concert after. That's what she looked like. She had her Cowboy Carter wig on, her boots. Jenny said, I'm gonna be fly for this. I'm gonna be fly every day. Y'all gonna talk about me. Oh, let me see. So she had to clarify what the term mean went. Cassie called escorts because it was her job. Confirmed she performed sex acts with everyone mentioned that we just went over, and that Sean paid them. Then we're seeing an email thread. It says, we have we need to have a proper FO with no K. Please don't be mad as if it's, I'm sorry. Please don't be mad. I want to do it without K. I got to have a good memory of the freak off next. No K. Now, Cassie explains that K is ketamine, and ketamine is one of those drugs that helps her disassociate. So she definitely wanted to do it. Diddy doesn't like doing it because he wants you. I told you guys, he does not want people who want to do this. He could easily find any bisexual man and a bisexual woman who would have these type of sexual encounters, who like the smell of musty arms and period and everything else, and to see Diddy spread out on a bed holding money directing you. Somebody would do it willingly. That's not what he wants. He wants somebody who does not want to do it, and he wants you to be fully aware of what you're doing. So it's kind of like it's an even sicker twist to it. But ketamine, she says, it would take time out of the freak off, and she would be high, and there would really be no sense of what's going on, and he does not like that. There was less sex with ketamine. He said that she's not being in the moment when she's on it. She responded to him, that is all we do now. I'm back on track. Okay, so Cassie was jealous of his relationships with other women. She has been very upfront about that. And so Kim Porter is about to enter the chat. He's asking her to do a freak off without ketamine, and her response is, this is all we do, and now I'm back on track. You can call Kim or something. Back on track means she's recovering from the last freak off. She really doesn't want to do it. And I don't know if at this point in the relationship, Kim was still having sex. I mean, Diddy was still engaged sexually with Kim or not. But that's what she responded to him. What did Carisha say? Get somebody else to do it? Cassie's like, get Kim to do it. I don't know what Kim was doing. Why? And Cassie was aware of Gina as well. So I don't know why she chose Kim in that moment, but that's what she said. She said she did not want to kiss escorts. It was too intimate, and Sean started requesting to see it. He would also fly in escorts from New York to Miami, to LA, and to Vegas. Her 29th birthday. Remember I showed you guys a video. Let me see. Happy birthday. That was her 29th birthday. Part of the reason why she was so mad was because she really did not want to do any freak offs. And that's all Diddy wanted to do. He threw her a party. Meanwhile, she wanted to go do karaoke with her friends. Diddy wanted a freak off. She said, not right now. I want to celebrate with my friends. Diddy kept pulling her away. She eventually left because he would not stop harassing her about going to do the freak off. Security was there with them while Sean pulled her away. Basically saying that she felt intimidated. Blackmail materials. Sean mentioned blackmail whenever he would get angry. It was a common occurrence. When she dated someone else, he threatened to put out 2 videos to embarrass her and put her career in jeopardy. She was extremely scared for her mom to see them. She felt horrible and disgusting. He told her, I'm going to make you look like a slut. Those videos are going to make you look like a slut. There's another text thread. She's saying, please delete any video on your phone. He said, I did. No cloud, nothing to worry about. Took an Ambien. It's kicking in. Good night. Now there's a chat. Cassie, I need you to call me ASAP. Diddy says, I called. You need to pick up. Cassie says, someone said they saw a freak off tape. Diddy responds, girl, you need to act like you need to get this info. Girl, you need to act like you need to get this info. At a party, somebody named Soojun said he was aware of a sex tape that she was in involving her. So she's basically freaking out. It said, Diddy says, you got to tell him this is your life. So it's this guy. It's Kid Who had told somebody named Soojun that he had seen a sex tape of Cassie. So then Diddy tells her, this is crazy. Do not let him out of your sight. What the fuck? So Cassie does not let them out of the sight, pulls them into a car to drive back to the city with them. So they were in Atlantic City. They're driving back to NYC. Sujic was drunk. Diddy had them set up a dinner with Sujic and Kid Who to find out about the sex tape. Security was there to intimidate them into telling the truth. Diddy had as many security guards as he could around them and around the table while they ate. Everyone at the dinner was nervous. James Cruz was at the dinner. I told you guys that dude, James Cruz, is going to be one of the main whistleblowers. He worked for Diddy as the president of Bad Boy Management. He was involved in a freak off. There was a lawsuit involving him and some freak off allegations. Supposedly he found Jesus and is trying to save his marriage, y'all. This dude is going to sing like a canary. This is the one who kept asking the chef, what size you like. And the chef wasn't having it. Now, trigger warning. We're about to get into something that is, it will be triggering for a lot of you guys. I'm just going to let you know. After a freak off, how did you recover? She would take opioids to come down from the ecstasy and the MDA. Opioids made her feel numb because she hated to do freak offs. She did develop an addiction, and the first person to give her these opioids was Diddy. Now, it's going to get a little nasty. She started having GI issues and UTIs from the drug use. But then she was having back-to-back UTIs. It got to the point that the UTIs were so bad and they were happening so often that all of the antibacterial medicines stopped working. And Sean knew that she had UTIs, but forced her to have sex through the UTIs. So how she broke it down was UTIs, urinary tract infections, are extremely painful. He knew that they were painful. He knew that she was getting them from all of the drugs that she was on, and he did not care. So he made her have painful sex when her vagina was stinging and burning. He texted her. I feel okay. Cassie, I feel okay. Just tired. Diddy, I feel good. Had a great freak off. Cassie, I'm studying, doing vocals. I love you. Diddy says, please email me my pics. Cassie, they asked her what pics. She didn't know. She responded, hello, I sent them yesterday. He responds, not all of them. Where are you at? I'm at the studio. I have sores on my tongue. It's not easy to sing. So the prosecutor asks her, I'm sorry if that's loud, guys. This is New York. It happens all through the night. You hear this. And this is a cheap hotel, so the walls are thin. Hopefully they move on. While we wait for that, I'll do the super chats. Mims, do you... Okay, we got that one. Tamara. So all that money we spent on Bad Boy music went to these freak offs. Hush money, hotel repairs, and not the artist. I want a refund. Good luck with that, Tim. Princess, so proud of you, Mimsy. are y'all staying all 8 weeks? Remember, Diddy wanted Kim to lick Cassie dirty. Oh, Kim wanted Diddy to lick Cassie's dirty tampon in that book. Is it true now? I still don't believe that. I could see him maybe wanting. We don't really hear about Diddy wanting to see other women with Cassie. We know that. Was it in the book that said that? No, in a lawsuit. We do know that there was a young white lady who I believe was a waitress who Diddy was seeing, and he made Kim go down on her in her lawsuit. But I don't remember anybody like there being any interactions with Cassie and another female, just Cassie and multiple men. Thank you, Princess. Okay, it's gone. Okay, so how she got sores in her mouth. So oftentimes she had mouth sores from the amount that she was forced to use her mouth, from urine, drugs, and the friction of not only sorry guys, just to put it out, not only was she forced to, give these people oral, but it was oral with bodily fluids mixed in with like baby oil. So she, let's just say they weren't cleaning anything off before she had to give oral. So this caused her to have mouth sores. So again, she's having to have sex with painful. This is not the STD. This is literally just sores, like friction sores. This is not the STD, basically, is what I'm saying. This is literally people being rough with her. Also, when you're consuming a lot of drugs, your mouth gets very dry. You guys get what I'm saying? This is not that. She's not talking about that yet. She's just saying at this point, she's developing sores in her mouth from the amount of usage. Imagine having Astroglide and baby oil in your mouth and people being very forceful and your mouth is dry because you're on drugs. We didn't hear anything about her being her having like water or anything like that to replenish her. We know they gave her IVs. But yeah. I'm sorry guys, this is what I sat through. She said to him, "I have another UTI." He didn't care. He said, "I'm good. Go to the doctor." She responded, "We did a lot." He said, "What the F you mean we did a lot? A lot of what?" She said, "A lot of dicks and a lot of partying this weekend." Then Diddy gets mad at her and she apologizes for that. She says she often would just apologize when he would get angry. July 18th, 2012. She tries to say, "I didn't mean that the weekend was hell, but it was really rough on my body. I'm gonna have to go to bed right now." She says she felt empty and gross after these freak offs. She felt like this was work. Other sexual activities. He would take her to sex clubs, including the Green Door in Vegas. She stated that she hated sex clubs and they terrified her. Diddy identified this as swingers. Swingers were people who swap partners. Cassie did not want to swing or do freak-offs. They would take escorts with them to the sex clubs. Jules would go with them, the male escort. She would drink a lot before, so she would just be drunk, so it was like she wasn't even there. At the club, she would sleep with Diddy and the escort. Jules was a safe place for her because he was around a lot, but she never wanted him. She did not want to see Diddy sleep with other people, which is why she hated sex clubs. She said they were together for 11 years, and she's very familiar with Sean Combs' moods. Diddy would turn the energy around if she said she didn't want to go to a sex club. He would try to be nice to her, and he would eventually push her into going. The lady said, If ever, were you allowed to leave a freak off? If he was being scary or unsafe. She said if he was beating her during a freak off, she would oftentimes flee the room and run away and go hide in the kitchen at the hotel or a back exit and stay in the alley. But Sean would come and find her, or one of his, goons would come and find her, and they would continue, and then they would continue sleeping with her. She was injured at a freak off. Diddy would beat her up. So they said, please expound on what that means to be injured. She said he would grab me, push me, punch me. He would hit me in the head. He would kick her, and he would do all of this in front of the escorts and when they were alone. Escorts would even come up to her and ask her if she was okay after she had gotten beaten. Within the first year, he was already beating her at freak offs. Frequently beat her up at freak offs. She reiterated that. Then there's a photo, August 5th, 2013. She texted him and said, we went across to the Abbey. The gays live on a Sunday. After the Abbey, we went home to pack for the OVO Fest. She was out there with her best friend, the young white lady, and this guy, Deontay Nash. Y'all are going to like Deontay. Trust me. Y'all are going to like Deontay in a minute. Cassie goes to sleep in her apartment. Her friend and Deontay are just chilling. Diddy comes in screaming that she wasn't packed and ready to go to the OVO Fest. Diddy proceeds to start to beat Cassie, and Deontay and the homegirl jump on Diddy and start beating the shit out of Diddy. I told you guys you were going to like Deontay. She needed a friend like this ninja. Out of all the people that we then heard, Deontay, you got bodyguards, you got escorts, you got all of these niggas seeing this girl get beat. They still collected their money, but Deontay is the one who actually jumped on him. There isn't too many good things in these stories, but this little dude in the Missy Elliott, I Can't Stand the Rain coat and a Rock Dwayne Johnson turtleneck with a diamond necklace is the one nigga who really stood up and fought Diddy for her. And the homegirl chose to fight that time. But shout out to Deontay. Let me see. Eventually, Diddy lets go of Cassie, and Cassie hits her head on the bed frame, and there's a huge gash above her eye. So they showed us the picture. Y'all, it was disgusting. She had a gash like this big. It was on a Sunday. Everything was closed. Everything was closed. So he called up a plastic surgeon. They opened up the plastic surgery center and stitched up her eye. Let me see. He was telling her, you don't know when to stop. You pushed it. Not fair. And then he sent her a sad face. Nigga is like 50 years old. Let me see. Diddy, you don't know when to stop. Cassie, just say sorry. Have some sympathy. You don't care if I'm okay, is what she responded to him. Now I said Cassie is, hold on, let me see. So they make it to the OVO Fest, and Cassie is photo with Diddy's other girlfriend, Meek Mill. I'm sorry, French Montana, the other girlfriend. After the festival, they went to the Hamptons and stopped at a motel with Dave, another escort with the big black dick. They took GHB, woke up nude. She woke up nude in the shower. Dave and Diddy were standing over her, really, really freaked off, letting the water hit her because they thought she had OD'd. She had no idea where she was. Once she woke up, they then proceeded to have sex with her and did a complete freak off. certain parts like this, I put an asterisk by. You thought that you lost your girlfriend due to an overdose instead of taking her to the doctor, having her drink water, having a human moment with somebody you just thought you lost. You then proceed to just start having sex with her. Let me see. The next thing was under seal. Now they're starting to let the jury see freak offs. So it's still images of her having sex with a lot of the escorts. They said they wanted her to drill down on what being physical meant. She says she would be punched, kicked, dragged, or mushed. Hold on. Slay and Pray, thank you so much for the Cash App. Tracy Stewart, thank you for the Cash App. Terry, thank you for the Cash App. Nilsa, thank you for the Cash App. And Dana, thank you for the Cash App. Rosemary and Ashley B, I don't know if I thanked you before, but thank you for the Cash Apps. I appreciate you guys. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. Punch, kick, dragged, and mushed in the face. What employees were present while you were being beaten? She said security, specifically Malik and Mia, the assistant. I put like sometimes it's like pulling teeth to get answers from her. One of his assistants, George Catlin, he quit because he witnessed Diddy beating her. So I'm assuming that George will be called as a witness. And the manager, James Cruz, saw her getting beat. They said, did you ever initiate a fight with Diddy? She says, yes. Did that fight leave an injury on him? She said, no. Were you injured after he initiated fights with you? She says, yes, every time. 2007. It was the first instance of violence. He was hosting a party, or they were eating at Felipe. Sean was flirting with someone. She shrugged her shoulders. When they got into the car, he knocked her around. He hit her on the side of the head and knocked her to the floor of the car. She hid when she got home. So apparently, he knocked her to the floor of the car and he was like stomping her out. Now they're at the Ace of Diamonds strip club. Diddy was hosting a party. Cassie talked to a producer while at the party. When they got in the car, he called her a slut and a whore. Cassie punched him, and then he beat the shit out of her. He stomped on her face with his foot for the entire 10-minute car ride. She took off running, and Roger Bonds ran after her and brought her back to the Diddy house. So right there, again, she's establishing the fact that Diddy has an enterprise of people to do his bidding. She's running apparently for her life because this is early in the relationship and she's not accustomed to getting beaten. And one of his handlers comes and pulls her back. When she looked into the mirror, her entire face, she said, was ruined. It was black eyes, blood, knots on her face, busted lips. He was stomping on her face for 10 minutes. He told her to sneak out of the house and stay at a hotel because she couldn't be seen. So he's willing to do this to apparently a lot of the women that he was with, but he does not want his children to see them beat up. So he wants his children protected. She told security she wanted to leave, and an assistant, Genevieve, she wanted to go to her mom's house. Diddy said absolutely not and would not allow her to leave through the assistants and security. She did not feel like she could leave safely. Sean and security made her cover her face. Now, there was a blind item that described the fight between her and Diddy to a T. Her mom saw that and called her and asked if it was her, and she lied. She lied to her mom and said that was not her. Now, she says she did it out of shame. Y'all think that was what's that thing? I can't even think of the name. It's like an old school blog that everybody was putting mess on around 2011. It's still up and running today. Some of my videos are there now. What is that called? It's like an old blog, and they just drop a whole bunch of blind items. Yeah, her mom asked if it was her. She lied, but her mom did eventually know. Lipstick Alley. Thank you. I wonder if the blind item was on Lipstick Alley, because, you know, I did a video where Lipstick Alley had called this abuse like 10 years ago. What's up, Really B? Let me see. She left the hotel and went to the studio. There is pictures of her with black eyes and busted blood vessels in her eyes. There's a photo of Malia. Mali is a makeup artist. She confirmed that Diddy had beat her and she had to go stay. Oh, Mila is Cassie's former makeup artist. I don't know if she's been on the channel, but I communicated with her before she started doing interviews. And she was even in one of the documentaries. She said she was out with dinner with homegirls, went home with the homegirl. The homegirl called her back and said, let's go to Prince's house. He's about to do a private show in his basement. She went to Prince's party and purposely did not call Diddy. Diddy showed up at Prince's party, and when Cassie saw him, she ran out of the party. After the party, Diddy went to Cassie's hotel, went into the bedroom, and beat her up. He was bruising her face, and she put knots on her head. So she went to Mila's house to recover for 3 days. Kid Cudi enters the chat in December 11. During a freak-off, Sean went through Cassie's phone and saw emails with Capricorn. Capricorn and Cassie had been emailing about Cassie leaving some toiletries at Kid Cudi's house. He put a corkscrew in his hand and tried to stab her. She ran out of the room. She called Kid Cudi on her burner phone to come pick her up. At this point, she was actually dating him. Cudi picked up Cassie from the middle of the street. Now we're going to get into Capricorn Clark. I think that Capricorn Clark is going to be put up on the stand. They're not mentioning her a lot, but I think that Capricorn Clark was the assistant that Diddy had had her take Cassie to Kid Cudi's house. Capricorn, she reached out to her and explained everything that had happened. After meeting with Capricorn, she went to Diddy's house. Diddy threatened her, Cudi, and with revenge P. Then he beat her. He kicked her back in. She returned to her hotel, and when she got to her hotel, it was destroyed. There was piss all on the floor. Somebody had pooped in the toilet and didn't flush it. They ripped up the furniture, tore the furniture around, ripped up her clothes, threw her clothes over, and destroyed the room. Now, remember, people are always like, why didn't she leave? Why didn't she leave? She found a new man, started dating him, and he threatened her, beat her, destroyed her property, destroyed her hotel room. So when people ask that question, wait, what? Oh, you mean you saw me in the background? Was I looking crazy? Hopefully I wasn't looking crazy. Let me see. Is Nancy Grace there? To poop in somebody's toilet and not flush it. The threats that have been made towards. Oh, okay. So she composed an email. The threats that have been made towards me by Sean Combs. He is going to release 2 sex tapes of me. Someone is going to hurt me and Cudi, but it won't be out of his hands. He will be out of the country when and if it happens. So she's just kind of like memorializing what he is saying that he is going to do to her. Her mom. Okay, so Cassie starts like doing this with her head. Like you can tell it's starting to like get to her. Her mom takes pictures of horrible bruise. Oh, I'm sorry. Cassie's taking photos and you can see that she still has her white nails on. I'm sorry. Her mom takes pictures of the horrible bruises on her ass where he was kicking her. Literally, like on her ass, there was like big black bruises. She lied to the mom and said it was the first time. She looks mortified in these pictures. So at some point, after he blows up the car, he calls in a meeting with Cassie and Kid Cudi and says basically that Cassie is his. And Kid Cudi says, "What about my vehicle?" And Diddy looks at him and says, "What vehicle?" And that was the end of the conversation. And that was really the end of the relationship. Jamaica trip. Diddy beat her and gave her a black eye. And she and her best friend had to hide under a tractor for 2 hours to get away from him. So we see all these glamorous pictures. I remember photos of like Diddy vacationing with Christina Milian and Cassie, and you see just everybody is beautiful except Diddy. Meanwhile, you don't get to hear the part like this where she's hiding under a tractor for 2 hours. September 18th, I think this is 2015. At Diddy's house. She's recovering from a weekend in Vegas where Diddy was staying. There was an after party at his house where she spoke to a music management producer. I'm sorry, she spoke to somebody in music management. He took her into the other room and beat her senselessly, including shoving her face, it says face in the toilet and face against toilet. D-Rock and James Cruz come in while he is beating her, and they both start tearing up and crying when they see how badly beaten she is. Guys, we got like almost 8,000 in the chat. Definitely hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And again, trigger warning, if you're just coming in, this is going to be pretty graphic. There's a chat between Cassie and D-Rock. He says, "Where you at? It's time for you to ice your face." She says that it was a normal occurrence for her to keep ice and arnica gel around all the time because she knew she was going to get bruised up and beaten. You know, some people keep breath mints around. Some people keep a pin on deck. She was keeping bruise gel around because she had to. These are like small, minute details, but it definitely sets the stage of how much of her life was really just hell. Let me see. She had a few days to recover, made her apply more makeup so his son did not see her bruises. Who else did he beat? She says he beat assistants. He punched Eli in the head, and he dragged Mia by the hair in Turks and Caicos. And then, of course, Banya, the lady who he held over the balcony. And he held her over the balcony, and then he lifted her up while she was dangling and then threw this tiny little Asian woman into the patio furniture, like completely effed her up. Carrie Morgan. She says, "Tell me about Carrie Morgan." She says she's no longer her best friend. This was her best friend of 17 years. Explain why she's not your best friend. She says Diddy enters the house, saw that Cassie and Carrie were about to do drugs. Diddy hit Carrie in the face with a wooden hanger. Okay, side note. They're talking about this, and she just said hanger, and she was about to move on. So Comey is sending another posted note to Blondie to tell her, you need to extract more information, because when I was thinking of hanger, I was just thinking like a wire hanger, but she did it. He hit her in the face with like this, a wooden hanger. That's a much different connotation than this. If you're hitting somebody in the face with this, that's going to do some damage. Cassie was taking opioids now all the time to calm herself down. She took Narco, Percocet, Oxy, and Vicodin. Diddy introduced her to the opioids and told her which bottles they would be in. She went to rehab 5 to 6 times for opioids. Diddy took all the same drugs. Diddy had a network of doctors to write prescriptions for controlled substances. A network of doctors, an organization. So, like I was saying yesterday, I was a little bit not pleased, and a lot of the people I was in the overflow room. A lot of people weren't pleased. This felt much more direct. She was not as vague. She was extremely clear. He used assistants to get him drugs. She went back to rehab in 2022. At her brother's birthday party, mom told her that a girl took a picture of her, and Cassie pulled the girl out of the car and beat her up. Later, she found out she was having PTSD episodes where she would black out. Sometimes Diddy thought that those episodes were seizures, and she also started sleepwalking. Now we see a knife stuck in the door, so everybody's like gasping in the overflow room. But Cassie said, "No, I put the knife in the door. I stuck it in the door to help reinforce the door because he was trying to break in, and for protection, like in case she needed to cut him because he would be outside trying to break into her room or her apartment." The breakup dinner. At this point, she had started to see Alex. It was a normal dinner. He brought her home. He followed her in. Then he R-worded her in her living room. She was crying and saying no. His eyes were black. There was a void there. He continued R-wording her through the tears. He ejaculated inside of her, got up and left with no words. She went to a mutual friend's birthday dinner, and it was the best time that... Okay, so gap. He R-worded her, and then they casually would still like text on and off. They were both at a mutual friend's dinner, and he was extremely nice to her. And so after that, they had consensual sex, and that was the last time she had sex with him. There was the R word when she broke up with him. Then they saw each other at a dinner. They had consensual sex. They asked her, "Why did you do it?" She said she did it because she still had feelings for him. Brittany Hall. Brittany Hall was somebody who started working with her for her career. Then all of a sudden, Diddy hires her to be a host on Revolt. So let's look her up. Brittany Hall, Revolt TV host. Do y'all think that it is a coincidence that he would hire her manager to be part of Revolt TV? Let's see. Yes, Brittany Hall is a co-host on Revolt TV's Black Girl Stuff. Let's see. Okay, this is her. She started helping managing Cassie, but then Diddy hires her to be on Revolt. So then Cassie has to fire her because she felt like it was a conflict of interest. Do y'all think that it's just a coincidence? Oh, did you guys get to see the picture? I'm sorry. This is Brittany Hall. My bad. Let me see. 3/1/2019. There's a text message from Diddy to Cassie. It says, "I'll pull up and handle it face to face. iPads full of skeletons. If I was you, I would get me my money." So the prosecutor says, what do you think Diddy was saying here? When he's saying is, I'm going to show up to your house. You are now sleeping with the man that I was paying to train you. I want my money back. And if I don't get my money back, I'm going to release your sex tapes. This is 2019, a full year after they had broken up. But at this point, Cassie is posting pictures with her new boyfriend, who is now her husband. Let me see. Cassie says, "You don't want me to tell the truth. It's way deeper than the freak off tapes." January 7th, 2017, Cassie, "I feel like this is all I'm used for," talking about freak offs. he says, you know, you left me. She said, I didn't leave you. I saved you from beating me up and another week of recovery. She says she went to rehab because, okay. Trigger warning. This is about to be some really, really deep shit that we get into. So just trigger warning. I'm sorry I'm cursing a little bit more. This subject matter is extremely dark. This is like just pulling the Band-Aid off. She went to rehab because she wanted to unalive herself. So one night, she put the kids to bed and told the husband, you can do this without me. She tried to throw herself into traffic, but the husband would not physically let her do it. Cassie needed a minute. We needed a minute. She has very, very young children. But to get into her mindset, you have this man threatening you. You have a new life. You're still addicted to drugs, and you have no real self-worth. Not even the thought of your children are enough to make you feel complete. You have a loving husband, two, adorable little girls, but you are still battling with what you went through for like 10 years prior. I think we all needed a moment. So she started journaling and then she went to rehab. She turned the journals into a book. She wanted Diddy to read the journals. She said that she realized at this point that all of the sexual stuff she was doing was to make Diddy feel normal. She said the freak offs, all of it. Now, this is me talking, like somebody who has read all of the complaints, talked to victims. I really think that Cassie was a vessel that Diddy used to have access to men that he could not necessarily have access to. Like I said, if Diddy wanted a bisexual man or a bisexual woman, it would be extremely easy to get. But what Diddy wanted was, all jokes aside, we're not even doing the big black dick joke. What Diddy wanted was these heterosexual men who desired his woman. But I think that there was more of a desire than just being a cuckold, which is somebody who watches your girlfriend have sex with somebody else and then, does something with the cum. Excuse my language, guys, but this is just where we're at. I really do think that he looked at this woman as a vessel to get these men. But even though they were fulfilling his desire, I don't think that it was a complete desire. And I think that had him turn on Cassie. I don't think that he loved her. I think he loved what he could do with her body and who he could get to be sexual around him through her. But if you don't hear a lot about him attacking men, you hear a lot about him attacking the women. And I don't think it's necessary that the woman is weaker. I really do think that Diddy's sexuality is his Achilles heel. And Cassie was a means to an end. But even with that, Cassie, it would take money. And even with the money, these men were heterosexual. So they weren't even turned on with you being in the room. We heard the story of him telling the escort, don't look at him, all this kind of stuff. I really do think that his sexuality is really what has put him in prison, because he cannot really be who and what he wants to be. It's there's something there. Maybe a psychiatrist would really have to pull that out, but there's something there. And I'm not knocking the men and women who are into the cuckold life. I'm not knocking you. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But with Diddy, you have all of these people having all of these sexual relations around you, like you damn near Caligula and all this shit. But in the event that you want to do something with their cum, you have to rush to the bedroom, have Cassie take it out or you take it out, and then it's put on you. You don't even want an escort to see that you are using their cum. There's something there. There's something there, because if you were okay with it, or you were fine with using their cum to put on your body for whatever, sex fantasies you have, there would be nothing. Everybody is naked. Everybody is doing something in this room. You think that there's something wrong with it, past making this girl have sex with painful UTIs and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's something there. And I think that Diddy would really need to work this out with the therapist, because jail won't help it. He's going to get out of jail if he goes to jail, and he's going to do the same things, because there's definitely something there. You know what I mean? Like, there's it's specific. Anytime you have a whole freak off where everybody sets it up, the lights, the smells, all these things, but you got to run to the bedroom because you're too embarrassed, and the only person who sees you really do these things with other men's cum is Cassie, and then you beat the shit out of her. There is definitely something there. But that's just me. Back to the court case. So she started sending Diddy chapters of the book through her attorneys and KK. KK said that nobody would even take her seriously. She wanted Diddy to apologize and to be compensated $30 million for what she went through. She didn't do research. She just picked the number. So they started talking about in 2023. They said, when did you settle your lawsuit? She said she settled the lawsuit within 24 hours. And they said, for how much? And they said 20 million. And the courtroom kind of just went silent, because I don't think publicly, I mean, let me just say this. Shit gets out. It's not new to everybody. Shit gets out. But I think for the general public, nobody had ever actually put a number to it. But, the number was out there circulating. She says, I can't carry the shame and guilt anymore. And I have to acknowledge that I treated people like they were disposable. And the woman said, who were the people? And she said, escorts and everybody. Now, let me tell y'all this. Whether you like Cassie or not, that's the testimony. But I really do feel like they're going to try to eat this girl alive in cross-examination. Damn, where are we? Worry about yourself. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you. I appreciate that. C. Burgeon, thank you for all the daily updates. Thank you. And guys, I might do 2 updates tomorrow. Like, I might break this up and come back and do this during lunch. I realized that me going live right after was a lot, and I needed time to decompress because of the subject matter. So I'm going to figure it out. I'm just kind of getting my footing. Being in New York, I need to learn to ride the subway. Caribbean gal, Mims, I've been clocking you all day like a check. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I just could not go live right after. It was a lot. Alicia, I hope she doesn't go into early labor too much to relive. Yeah, there were times where she was like, I need a break. I can't. And it's going to be even harder for her tomorrow in cross-examination. Barzita, I tried to research Cassie's origin, and with the vague info I acquired, it's giving Kimura vibes. It's giving entertainment industry pimping. She is part Filipino. I think she has some Caucasian and some Black as well. She's like a mixing pot, but I do know that a big chunk of that is Filipino. If you know what her nationality or ethnicity is, put it in the chat. Caribbean Gal, shout out to Tay and Bestie. Who's Tay and Bestie? Okay. Oh yeah, the dude who beat up Diddy. You're right. Sunshine, keep up the good, great job. Thank you so much. Worry about yourself. Hit the like button. Yeah, we got like almost 9,000 in the chat. Definitely hit that like button. Sunshine. Oh, we did that one. Marty, thanks for always putting in the work, ma'am. Sending prayers to you and your sister. Thank you. I appreciate that. Grown woman, don't try me. Have a Starbucks on me tomorrow. As thanks for your hard work. Thank you. Me and grown woman be in all the same chats. Paige, Mims, could you see his family's faces during the graphic stuff or Cassie's husband? Now, Cassie's husband, before we even started, they wanted him out of the courtroom. So I'm in the overflow room, so I can see Cassie clearly, and I can see Diddy, and I can see the prosecutors. I can kind of see who's in the back, depending on how big the screen is at the moment. Now, if I'm in the actual courtroom, I don't see any of this. The only person who is facing me is going to be Cassie, and I will have the ability to see the side of the jurors' faces. So maybe one day before I leave, I will try to go into the courtroom. But for the time being, I'm really enjoying having Lisa Bloom and Gloria Allred next to me, and a new defense attorney that I met today, and People Magazine. And we're all like talking, and I'm just listening to all of these people. And then the people who aren't in the business are there. And I'm like, how do you feel about this? The smartest person in the room is the one who sit back and listen. I got that loud and clear. I will sit and listen. I want to know how everybody feels. It's harder to do that physically being in the room. And just FYI, I'm from Louisiana. I'm not from New York. Pushing me, shoving me. I already told you a family member was tripped out on the first day with me and kind of pushed me. It was a crazy looking lady who also looked like she was trying to go to Cowboy Carter. So a lot of that in the family. I'm not really for all that. And I'm not really too concerned with hobnobbing or all of this other bullshit or jockeying for positions. It's not me. I'm not accustomed to it. I'm not a New Yorker. I'm not in your atypical press corps. I'm not. You only got so much. I can disengage a little bit, but I'm fine in the overflow. Maybe one day I'll try to get in there, but it's just so much more stuffy and I can't talk. Let me see. The blind item is on Lipstick Alley. Thank you so much, DB. Then thank you for being a member for 13 months. DB be in other people's chat telling me I need to be going live. Caribbean Gal, she been through all of this and it was still able to have children. The body's amazing, thank the Lord. And the giving up the drugs is a big one. 2 years clean and sober is a blessing, because that was a major drug addiction. I wonder if Diddy be in the court with the shakes, because that's a crackhead if I've never seen one. Tinny, my first super chat ever. Thank you for the great work. Thank you. And thank you. I was going to say something inappropriate. Thank you so much for me being your first super chat. Brandon Mason show. Hey, brother, join our live tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the Diddy coverage. Lots of viewers coming in. So, Brandon, I'm physically at the coverage, so it's really, I wouldn't be able to because I have to relinquish my phone. But I'll definitely check out your channel. Thank you for the super chat. Coco, thank you for the generous super chat. She says Cassie was never Diddy's girlfriend. She was his sex slave. Never believed in her talent. Saw her as a young, beautiful, I'm gonna just say target. The one who he thought was the weakest bloomed into the strongest. I'm so proud of her reclaiming her voice, taking this monster down. Great job. Technically, Cassie's lost. Cassie and multiple other victims who all support each other don't get enough credit for what they have been able to do with exposing. You got Cat Williams saying people are going to be exposed. Cassie needs to be on that list. That lawsuit was paramount for a lot of other victims to come forward. You don't have to believe every victim, but there has been a shift in what celebrities are now able or what celebrities are not able to get with, not able to do any longer. Shit, I do feel like we should probably do a members only at some point, maybe Saturday, because there's things I can't just put out like to the public, but there's some shit. And y'all know I'm with the shits, and I'm around people who they be telling me shit. And y'all know I'm super perceptive. And then we're gonna have to do a members only. I think y'all have a lot of questions that aren't members, and that's cool. Maybe Saturday I'll still be in New York. Maybe I will do a open panel type thing where you guys can ask questions. Maybe I'll have some of the other people from the courtroom come in there, and maybe we'll do something like that. And maybe I'll be able to do a members only as well. There's some shit that I really just don't want to put out all the way to the public, but it's shit that I think I gotta stop. I'm tired, so sorry for all the cursing. It doesn't typically happen like this, but with the subject matter, I'm pretty sure you guys will understand. I'm not able to censor myself in real time like I normally am. And thank you again, Coco, for the generous super chat. DB, I am so afraid of the cross exam. It'll be brutal. That's why I feel like I need to get in the courtroom maybe once before this is over, but I don't want to be in there for the cross exam because I want Lisa Bloom's opinion. Like, you don't really get that option very often. And she's been we'll just say very talkative with me. And her mom too. Barb Meets World. Thank you, Mims. I know I speak for more than a few when I say your efforts are always very appreciated. I appreciate you guys. If you didn't hear me give you guys thank you, go to the beginning of the video, and I really do appreciate all the outpouring of support because this was expensive. Dari Angel, Mims, you're a living angel for your efforts. I don't know about an angel, maybe a practical virgin, but I don't know about an angel. Ethel Stunley, thank you for joining the membership. So yeah, guys, be prepared for cross tomorrow. I feel like there's so much that I haven't been able to cover, like Tory Lanez and DDG and Haley. If you're new to the channel, we do all that around here. I gotta go because I need to iron my clothes for tomorrow. But thank you guys for being here. You might catch me midday as well, maybe to like split these up into two different. Stay there, hell no. I don't really talk about money a lot. I never talk about money on this channel unless we're putting together to donate for somebody. But New York is expensive as hell. This normal ass room that I'm in was like $3,500, and it was like $1,000 to fly here. So yes, this was an expensive trip. Yes, I appreciate you guys. The outpouring of support was not lost on me, and thank you. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of the straight shooters who I've been seeing at the trial. I didn't buy them a shot because I haven't drank anything and there's nothing to drink, but I definitely bought coffees and stuff. So if you see me at the trial and you know me, definitely say you want a coffee, or I keep fruit snacks in my bag. Y'all have a good night. I will see you guys later. Have a good one.